Adrian Peterson says he still wants to play football this year. And Field Goals, the SB Nation Seahawks site, says, why not sign him in Seattle? Which I've got thoughts. We'll get to it here. Peterson is, along with Frank Gore, the exception to the rule among running backs. As they get older, they end up not lasting very long. Peterson, though, has shown he can still contribute. But there are limited roles, as we'll get into more in depth here, for a 36-year-old running back. Peterson had 150 carries last year. Now, he averaged under 4 yards per carry. That was a dip down, although, to be fair, the Lions' offensive line wasn't the best. And he still showed that he can have a nose for the end zone. Peterson averaged more yards per carry than Todd Gurley did, despite being like 10 years older. So Peterson, I think if you're ranking backs in the NFL, it's a minimum, right? A top 90 back. There's, if not top 60 back. There's room on a roster based only on running back ability. The problem is that's not how NFL teams operate. A, they're very ageist, but the second string and the third string back are often counted on for more than just being a lead back. Adrian Peterson, especially at this stage of his NFL career, doesn't bring you much in terms of the passing game. 12 catches last year. Like, you can use him, but if he's playing for you, it's mostly on first and second downs. And, oh, by the way, he offers you nothing in terms of special teams value. So if he's your third back or fighting for a third roster spot at the position, the team is going to go younger, cheaper, and that can help you with special teams. So how does that all fit in then with Seattle? Well, Chris Carson clearly is the lead back. He is going to start, but he's got injury problems, so you want a decent backup. Rashaad Penny, some potential special teams value there. DJ Dallas, Travis Homer, much younger, much less proven, but also cheaper and can help you on third downs and or special teams. Frankly, the role that Peterson would play in Seattle is that of Alex Collins. I am unconvinced Collins makes this roster, especially if Rashaad Penny does. So the Peterson hypothetical role in Seattle would have to come in place of Alex Collins, and even then, does he want a bigger role? He probably wouldn't have a big role, if any, in Seattle, barring injury. Right, Marshawn Lynch? Here's what Peterson said recently, by the way, because he still wants to play. Quote, the training is going well, and I'm going to control the things that I can control right now. And when that time comes, somebody will give me a call. That's all I'm asking for. My body my body feels good. I came out healthy from last season. My body feels strong. I still feel young. I still feel good. I'm ready to play ball. Now, what do you guys think? Would you sign Adrian Peterson? Get your votes in for me. Type in Y for yes or type in N for no. As it specifically relates to the Seahawks, I lean no. I don't think that Peterson brings you enough. Even though he's a surefire Hall of Famer, if you're keeping Carson and Penny, I would rather let the cheaper guys in Collins and in DJ Dallas and Homer compete. Yeah, Peterson's career is way better than them, and frankly, he might be better than them right now, but what am I going to do with a third string back who doesn't help me on special teams? There's only a handful of teams that I think fit for Peterson right now. I'm not sure Seattle, barring injury, is one of them. Now, there are some other free agent backs out there who are falling into similar issues. Frank Gore, the ageless wonder himself, Lev Bell, LaShawn McCoy. Those guys were once among the best backs in the NFL, but they don't help you on special teams. They're having a tough time finding a job. Todd Gurley ain't healthy. Duke Johnson, by the way, third down value, but also getting a little bit older. Could the Seattle Seahawks trade for Bengals center Billy Price, or at least Bengals interior offensive lineman Billy Price? Floated out there by Clutch Points. They had a trade idea, which we'll get to here in a second, and I thought it was at least worth discussing for both the Cincinnati Bengals and the Seattle Seahawks. Price, there's no doubt about it, has been a bust. He has been a bad football player in Cincinnati, and I question just how much trade value even the former first-round pick actually has. Now, Clutch Points' trade suggestion was pretty cheap for Seattle. They get a backup interior offensive lineman in Billy Price. The Bengals get a late-round pick swap. So, Bengals save some money. Seattle maybe gets a depth piece. Who do you think says no then to at least a potential Billy Price trade? I think it would be very cheap for the Seahawks to acquire him. Bengals would not get much back. So get your votes in. B for the Bengals or type in S for the Seahawks. Now the Bengals side of this here is makes some sense, right? Billy Price is not going to start for them. Assuming Trey Hopkins is healthy, which he should be, he's going to be the lead guy at center. They drafted Trey Hill, by the way, day 3 out of Georgia. They've got Michael Jordan, who's bad. Xavier Su'a-Filo, Quentin Spain, Jackson Carman, all better interior offensive linemen than Billy Price. So I think at best case is what? Interior offensive lineman 4 or 5. Saving some money always helps things out from the Mike Brown perspective. So I do think he would be available on the trade market. What I question, though, is just how much interest Seattle would end up having. Now, at this point in his career, I don't really want to play Billy Price. And Clutch Points mentioned him specifically for Seattle as a potential starter. And although I am open to potentially adding somebody behind or above Ethan Pocic, is Billy Price better than Damian Lewis, Gabe Jackson? Hell no. Is he better than Ethan Pocic? I don't think so. Is he better than Phil Haynes or Jamarco Jones or Jordan Simmons? I kind of lean no as well. The last time we saw Billy Price was in a limited role in 2020. He played week 1, barely. Kind of started week 3 and 7, was started for week 8, was bad in that game, by the way, and chipped in some in week 17. Price was not a starter last year full time. And although 1 sack, 1 hit, 2 hurries doesn't look that bad, he graded out terribly on Pro Football Focus after an even worse year last year because he had 4 penalties in 138 pass block snaps. That's not very good, although I guess it was better than allowing 29 pressures in 400 pass block snaps that he had in 2019. Overall, what I'm saying, not to be too mean here, Billy Price is bad. He's not a good football player. Despite being a former first-round pick, he hasn't remotely lived up to the rather high expectations. Now, Ethan Pocic, meanwhile, I am open to upgrading him. Austin Ryder is sitting out there as an unsigned free agent. But his numbers overall, although they're not elite, but it's just the imagination, are better than Billy Price's when you factor in the length and the role that he played. 2 sacks, 3 hits, 13 hurries. Run grade's not that great. Price actually fared pretty decently in the run game. But the Seahawks are going to try to let Russ cook, right? And oh, by the way, Pocic had 1 penalty compared to Price's 4 in almost 5x the snaps last season. So look, if the Seahawks want to go trade for Billy Price, okay, sure. Maybe a change of scenery will do him good, and it'll fix him and get him back to being the guy that everyone thought he was going to be as a first-round pick out of Ohio State. Do I think he's going to be a legitimate option to start? No. So maybe if he gets cut, it starts to make some more sense for Seattle. I am not sure I want to give up a real asset for him in a trade.